What is rotation and why is rotation? Those are the two questions I plan to talk about today. Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon and here we play Jank. So I was on the Discord recently, link in the description, talking to some players about the rotation, and this video kind of sprouted in my mind. Some players may not know what rotation is and may not know why rotation is. So here we are. Let's get started with what is rotation. Rotation, to put it bluntly, is removing about a year's worth of cards from the standard format. What is the standard format? The standard format is how most people play the game. If you're playing on PTCGO, an official tournament, a local game store, or even on your kitchen table, you are probably playing the standard format. It is a collection of 2 to 3 years worth of cards that are legal for standard format tournament play, and that's how most people play. On PTCGL, if you don't go to the expanded tab, or same on PTCGO, then you are playing standard. PTCGO also has the theme deck format, but let's not worry about that. They also have other formats, but standard format is how most people play the game. And every year they remove about a year's worth of cards, because that year we will see releases of more cards. So a year's worth of cards get added, and then a year's worth of cards get removed, and then a year's worth of cards get added, and then a year's worth of cards get removed, and everything is rotating, moving forward. That's pretty much what rotation is. This year, March 31st on PTCGL will be rotation. I believe it's 2 weeks later for physical play, but let's see if this works. D. Do you see this D right here on delivery, special delivery Pikachu? All D cards will be removed from standard format. Only E and F and the upcoming G cards will be in the standard format. Pretty simple to understand. Next year, they will remove the E cards and it'll just be F, G, and H. Okay? So why? Why rotate? Why is rotation so important for Pokemon? Other TCGs don't do it. Mostly Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh's like the big example of a non-rotating TCG. I don't know if you played Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you've gotten into Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently. It's difficult, frankly. The benefit is that any card that you buy for Yu-Gi-Oh! You can pretty much play that from now till forever. I've thought about buying a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just to have, so whenever someone wants to play it, I've got a deck. I don't follow the ban rules, the limited list, anything like that. That's how Yu-Gi-Oh! Keeps some control over the game. Is a ban list, so they ban a ton of cards, and a limited list, which they limit how many copies of a card you can play in your deck, and so forth. Pokemon, they do have a ban list, but it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has to account for every card ever printed since the start. If Pokemon had to do that, there would be so many cards banned. So many cards banned. There's a reason why the Gym Leader Challenge format only goes to black and white. Let's just put it that way. So, why? What benefit does rotation give to a game when Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't use this? Well, game balance is a big one. Well, I just mentioned how Yu-Gi-Oh! Bans a lot of cards. Well, there's old cards that were not designed to interact with new cards, but they can in a particular way that might be game-breaking. And game-breaking can be fun, so don't discount that yet, but it can also be very dangerous. So, the example that I can think of is when I got back into the game. It was like Sun and Moon era was just starting, so there's some X and Y cards still in the format. Bridget was a card. It's a supporter card. And what it did is it let you grab 3 non-EX Pokemon from your deck and put them onto your bench. Real nice, right? 3 non-EX Pokemon. Cool. All single prizers, that's fine. Or grab 1 EX Pokemon and put it onto your bench. Awesome. EXs, they're kind of like Pokemon V nowadays. They're big basics. Big honkin' basics. You know? However, Big E, Big X, we no longer use. When GXs were coming out in the Sun and Moon era, Bridget only stated non-EX. Did not state anything about GX. Uh-oh. So people would play Bridget, grab 3 big hunkin' GX basics from their deck and put them onto their bench. Drampa was a popular one. Drampa GX. Or was it Tauros? It might have been both. Those were some popular ones back in that time. And that was pretty game-breaking at the time. Nowadays, no one would bat an eye at that. Adventures Discovery is a thing. You can search for 3 Pokemon V. They don't even have to be basics. They can be Pokemon V-Star, Pokemon V-Max. But you search for 3, put them into your hand. So then you even get the ability to play down a Crobat V from your hand to draw cards. Man, the game has exploded recently. But I think rotation is exactly what the game needs because of this game balance. Next up kind of ties into what I was talking about with Adventures Discovery. Power creep. Power creep is when you have to continually print better, stronger cards because you want people to play the new cards. You want people to buy the new cards, but also play the new cards because as we can see currently in the format, just before Scarlet and Violet's coming out, people are bored of Lugia V-Star winning everything. No one cares anymore. It's not special, Lugia. You're not special for being able to win all these tournaments. We get it. You're busted. Let's move on. And that's what rotation is going to allow us to do. Lugia has become so broken that rotation is removing so much, really hurting Lugia a lot. But it's able to bring that power creep back down to where, okay, they don't need to be that powerful in order to be competitive. They can be a bit weaker. Also, with Scarlet and Violet coming out, I'm noticing there's a lot of single prize Pokemon with slightly higher HP than they would have in the past. And that's another form of power creep. Power creep, I think, is something that happens in every TCG. But rotation helps with it to the point of, like, even if EXs, little e, little x, in Scarlet and Violet are not as powerful as Pokemon V, well, as more rotations happen, we lose more and more Vs. We're going to not have any Pokemon Vs here in a couple weeks and 2 years. 2 years and a couple weeks. That's how I should have said it. So power creep, you're able to keep the cap a little bit tighter on how strong cards get as they're being printed. So power creep really helps with power creep. Next one is advertisements. We just talked about Lugia V-Star winning all these tournaments. Pokemon tournaments are not put on by the kindness of Pokemon. They're put on to advertise the game to other players, to get people to buy more product, to have that kid watching Twitch be like, ooh, I like Pokemon. Pokemon's awesome. Click on that. Pokemon is awesome. But they click on that and they see the world's best players on stage playing against each other in these brand new decks. And they're like, I want to play that. And you know what? They can, because Lugia V-Star is in the latest set, main set. Silver Tempest. Beautiful. So the kid goes out, buys a bunch of Silver Tempest, maybe pulls a Lugia V, maybe not. But eventually they will buy enough product where they might have a competitive deck. Beautiful. Selling more product to more people means this game goes on longer. To continue from that point, new player friendly is another reason. As new players come into the game, we don't want them to have to learn 20 years worth of history, 25 years, 30 years. No, I think it was 25 years last year or something. 25 years worth of Pokemon TCG history just to play today. Like you do with Yu-Gi-Oh! You gotta know cards from, way back in the beginning all the way to today. With Pokemon, no. You just gotta learn 2 years worth of cards, which might sound like a lot, but honestly, with all the pretty pictures, it's pretty easy. And a lot of junk cards that you don't really have to play, like Special Delivery Pikachu, Special Delivery Charizard. You are not gonna play these cards. You don't need to learn them. But yeah, it's way new player friendly because it is a limited number of cards that you have to learn, get, and play with. So that's pretty awesome. Now, there's probably someone that's already typed out a response to this of, you are wrong, why there is rotation. And the answer is money. And I can't really disagree with that, but I think it's more nuanced than that, I guess is the term. So the idea is that it is just for money. We've already talked about advertising, new players going out and buying product. That's a good thing, keeps the game healthy and alive. But what a lot of people think is rotation is just to force players to go out and buy new cards of cards they already have that are rotated out. It's hard to argue this point because there are cards that have similar effects that get reprinted with new names, and you can't play the old one, you gotta play the old one. Recently, though, they have been taking steps to counteract that with cards like Professor's Research and Boss's Orders. They're no longer tied to a particular character. Professor's Research, discard your hand, draw 7 cards, used to be Professor Sycamore. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Used to be Professor Juniper. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Used to be so on and so forth, you know? So, you don't... They're kind of fixing that currently with the Professor's Research and Boss's Orders. So they're kind of negating that effect a little bit. But you can't deny that more people buying the newest product will lead to more income for the Pokemon Company, which means they can put that income towards making new product, new cards, and continuing down this journey. Right? I mean, yes, Pokemon's a giant company and all that stuff, but that is a big reason why people think there's rotation. I don't think that's nearly as much, because as we look at Yu-Gi-Oh!, they still sell plenty to keep the game going, you know? I think it helps. I think it helps them because Yu-Gi-Oh! Clearly doesn't have the same amount of product, I think, as Pokemon. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm not. I don't really play Yu-Gi-Oh! Too much anymore. But yeah, that was a reason I felt like I needed to address that. A lot of people think it's just to make you rebuy all the cards that you already have. I don't think so. But that is kind of a nice benefit to rotation for the Pokemon Company, is that they make extra money. Hurts my wallet, hurts your wallet, hurts lots of people's wallets, but we have a more engaging, more fun, more refreshed game every year thanks to rotation. And I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Are you? I don't know. Can't speak for you. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this discussion about what is rotation and why is rotation, and I hope it shed a little bit of light on some of the benefits that rotation has to TCGs in general, but more specifically to the Pokemon TCG. And let's see, please like this video if you did enjoy it, subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Join the Discord, which I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, but I'll mention it here again. Join the Discord so that we can talk in a more direct way than the comment section. And, of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.